In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. This is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg for another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone, state, territory, country you're in, planet, I don't know, maybe you're on planet Unicorn. So, got a great topic tonight. I think you'll find this interesting. I find it interesting, and tonight's topic is what I call monk mode, M-O-N-K, monk mode. So anyway, I'm in here in the studio with our ever-loving, faithful mascot, Drake, the Labrador Retriever. He's sitting here. He was playing just a little bit ago. Now he's asleep. He'll probably start snoring here in a bit, and you'll hear him in the background. So let's get on this topic called monk mode. What is monk mode? Well, after a working weekend down at the coast the other weekend and kind of focusing on these domains of body, being, balance, and business. And really kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't call it suffering, but just some of the effects of just freaking being burned out on this whole legal profession. Of course, I call it the legal matrix because it is a matrix. It is like a deep state. I thought about something that I read, and it was called called going to the monk mode, because I thought, I just feel sometimes I just want to completely go off social media, not have any contact with anybody for like a year, and just completely just scale back my life. I mean, just completely scale it back. I even thought about just like, just shutting the law firm down. I mean, just completely, just 100%. Wrap up some cases, and other cases possibly just send them to other lawyers or whoever the client wants to hire, and just take a full year to me. And I don't want to talk to anybody, with the exception of like my son or, and that. But it's just go completely like a monk. I don't want to go on social media, not LinkedIn, on Instagram, nothing, zero. I mean, nothing, absolutely nothing. I don't even want to market. I don't want to do anything. I just want to focus on writing my books. I'll do the podcast, Escape the Legal Matrix. But other than that, I just sat there and I thought about that today. And I even went in AI, which again, I'm not a big fan of AI, but I like to torture it. And I said, look, this is the way I'm feeling, the way I'm doing. And it kind of came up with that same scenario about the pros and the cons. Again, from my prior podcast, I'm not a fan of AI. I'm only a fan to the extent I like doing legal research, getting statistics, numbers, financial calculations, that sort of thing. But it's, like I said, it's fun to kind of torture it and ask it questions just to see what it will say about certain things. And so as I continued to sit there today, and we were in high-speed production mode for clients, consults, meetings, preparation documents, and I'm just thinking about this whole game, this whole legal profession, this legal matrix, and I just honestly, I have to say that the thought of just like unplugging from the world as much as possible, despite the chaos and insanity and evil that pervades this planet, and delusion and deception and lies, just unplugging for at least 1 year. I don't know. Have you ever thought of doing that? Have you ever thought of just like, just like taking your phone and taking all the apps off that you just don't use, you don't need, no matter how drawn you are to them? I mean, could you do it? Could you just like stay off of social media for a year? Could you just like not talk to people except like maybe your immediate family, and just everybody else? Just I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk. I don't want to deal with anything. Have you ever felt that way? Because that's kind of the way I feel right now. I just feel like I want to find a place, not expensive, and just detach and go into the monk mode. I don't know. I don't know if you're feeling that way. I mean, I feel the way you could feel the weight of the world. You could feel the tension in the air. Now, some people say this is normal. This is life. Others will say, "Hey, this is like the birth pains of the end times." Everybody's going to have a different opinion, but there's no question about it. There's a storm coming, and there's just something heavy in the air, and you can feel it. I feel it every day, and it just doesn't escape my mind. It doesn't escape my heart. It's there. It's present. And I just, I don't know. I just sat there today and I was just like, man, what would it be like? Just not to have to answer my phone, not respond to any emails, just pay off my debt, and maybe check things once in a while. Cause emergencies come up, things come up. But for the most part, like, just go as far. If it's on a percentage of 1 to 100, 100 is probably nearly impossible, but maybe get to 80, 85% monk mode. And I said, well, what would that look like? What would that look like? I mean, not being on social media, not talking to a lot of people. I mean, when you really look around you, who are the people that are really close to you that you really need to be in communication with, that you have to interact with? I mean, I guess we could just about live without it, live without everybody, but there may be certain people you want in your life. But if you could do it, if you could just take a year, just go away and just not interact with the world, so to speak, could you do it? Would you do it? I would. I really think I would. I'm sitting here at this point in my life, and I'll tell you, young law students and young lawyers, you're going to get to this point too, assuming the world's still here when you get to be my age. And if the world is still here, and if you're still here, you're going to ask the same questions too. You are. A lot of people do. A lot of people, they're not happy in their professions and their personal lives, whether it's justified or not, but they're just like, what, why all the frustration? Why put myself through all this? Why? And I thought about that, I thought about that today as well too. Is what I'm doing each day really making the world a better place? Is it really furthering, God's mission, his purpose? Did Jesus do? Am I really making a difference in what I do or what I say? And am I really being true to me? I mean, I don't know. Look at your jobs. Look at your professions. How do you feel? Do you want to be doing it? I mean, what would you rather be doing? I mean, doing nothing is not really a great solution. You just stagnate and your health just goes straight to hell when you do that. But, I mean, do you even think about that? Do you ever go to bed at night and go, man, if I just didn't have to answer my phone anymore, if I didn't have to respond to social media? I mean, before we had all the internet and all the cell phones and the smart devices, I hate to tell some of you folks, we had a lot of other activities, and we seem to get along quite well. Things seem to get done, and quite frankly, the quality of a lot of products was a lot better because you had that human touch to it. It's kind of like automobiles, like muscle cars, like the Mustang and the Camaro and the Corvette and the GTO, vehicles of that nature from the 60s and the early 70s, the muscle cars. I mean, they were just built well and solid. And then they started building crap, substituting, kind of like AI does, substituting, putting out all this junk in the industries. All, for technology or better or environment or blah, 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 blah. I think back to when I was in high school, and I got to tell you that the cars they came out with on this subject, they were horrible. The AMC Pacer, the Gremlin, the Pinto, I mean, the Matador. They were just horrible vehicles being produced by American auto manufacturers. It was really horrible. And so it's like today, fast forward all these decades later, and I'm just looking like, what are we churning out? What are we churning out in our personal lives? What are we manufacturing in our professional and our personal lives? What are we really building? And do we really need all of these things that we interact with and all these people on a daily basis? Do we really need smartphones? Do we really need, all these devices and constantly distracted? Do we really need to be on social media all the time? I don't know. I don't know anymore. There are clearly people in the world that, they're not on social media every day. They don't have smart devices, and yet they seem to thrive in their communities. So, I'm going to continue to think about this week, and probably through the weekend and through the holidays, and just sit here and kind of just let this sift, so to speak, about this thing that I call the monk mode, MONK, the monk mode. I don't know. It just seems kind of appealing to me. I'd like your feedback on this. I really would. I'd like to know if you could just detach from a ton of people and the apps and the smart devices and the social media accounts and just, in a sense, focus on yourself in the domains of body, being, balance, and business. How would your life change? What would you look like on the other end coming out of that, of a year of going monk mode? So, ask yourself the better question: where in your world should you go into the monk mode in these domains of body, being, balance, and business? And if you do that, might you just get that fulfillment that you've been looking for so long, and that's missing, and there's that void? I don't know. I'm really thinking about it. It's a very serious topic for me, and it's kind of a deep topic, but I think it's something that's worth looking at. So ask yourself that better question. I want to hear your feedback on this about the monk mode. And this is Bryce Nair coming live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, where everyday men and women don the uniform and go wage war against our enemies that seek to take the very freedoms that we so often take for granted. This is Bryce and Drake, and we are out of here.